A Charlie Brown Christmas is still seen today as one of the most beloved holiday classics. I mean, what more can be said about it? It broke away from the traditional formula of holiday programming with its simplistic and raw animation, iconic jazzy soundtrack, and heartfelt portrayal of the true meaning of Christmas. I watch this special every year during the holidays and want to honor its impact on so many people. But why do we consider it a Christmas classic? Let's get into it.
Of all the Charlie Browns in the world, you're the Charlie Browniest.
So to understand how A Charlie Brown Christmas came to be, we need to go back to 1961, when Charles Schulz's comic strips featuring the yellow-shirted cue ball and the small beagle became a monster hit. Although the comics offered a deep understanding of the characters, television executives and sponsors were hesitant to adapt these fictional children into animated form. They were not supporters of the Peanuts gang behaving more like adults, using sophisticated vocabulary, and notably, the persistent bullying of Charlie Brown. However, around the early 1960s, the Ford Motor Company released a variety of television commercials using the Peanuts characters to promote its new vehicle, the Ford Falcon. This very effective campaign brought much attention to the various Falcon models over several years, specifically from parents and young children. Thus, the campaign was successful thanks to the Peanuts gang.
So I think you ought to go out and do something for the families who don't own Falcons. I'm going. Doing good always gives me a deep feeling of satisfaction.
For your own satisfaction, ask to drive a Falcon, America's lowest priced 6-passenger car, at your Ford dealers now.
Unfortunately, the executives and sponsors continued to neglect the idea. In 1963, television producer Lee Mendelson recognized the cultural impact of the comic strips and reached out to Charles Schulz to propose a documentary about its success. Schulz agreed and brought in fellow animator Bill Melendez to assist with the project. Mendelson planned to include only 1 or 2 minutes of animation in the documentary due to the high cost associated with animation at the time. Additionally, he has produced a documentary focusing on the renowned baseball player Willie Mays just months prior. Finally, the 1963 documentary titled A Boy Named Charlie Brown was presented in the spring of 1964 to the Greater San Francisco Advertising Club. Although it garnered positive feedback, it failed to capture the attention of television executives or secure sponsorship, ultimately preventing it from being broadcasted on television. But miraculously, in April 1965, Charlie Brown and the Peanuts gang were featured on the cover of Time magazine, highlighting the profound impact of the Peanuts comic strip on the American cultural landscape. Shortly after, Melendez received a call from John Allen of the New York-based McCann Erickson agency representing the Coca-Cola Company.
Well, John had seen our documentary 2 years before and he really liked it, although he couldn't sell it. And he said to me, "Have you and Mr. Melendez and Mr. Schulz ever thought of doing a Christmas show?" And I stretched the truth a lot, and I said, "Of course." And he said, "Well, today's Thursday, we'll need an outline down in Atlanta for Coca-Cola on Monday." I said, "No problem." And I hung up the phone and I called Sparky on the phone. I said, "I think I just sold a Charlie Brown Christmas." And he said, "What is that?" And I said, "It's something that you and Bill and I have to cook up tomorrow." And there was a long pause, and I held my breath, and then he casually said, "Okay, come on up, we can do it."
So the 3 collaborators came together to pitch an idea to Coca-Cola. Their proposal included winter scenes, a school play, a reading from the Bible, and a soundtrack that combined jazz and traditional music. Shortly after submitting their completed pitch to Coca-Cola, the team received a telephone call from Allen, who conveyed interest in acquiring the special. Furthermore, they requested it for broadcast in early December, giving the team 6 months to produce the special. With this encouraging news, they immediately got to work. So they brought alongside amateur animators, child voice actors to voice the characters, and a local jazz musician, Vincent Anthony Guaraldi, to produce the soundtrack for the special. The Charlie Brown Christmas special was completed 10 days before its scheduled airing on television. Prior to its broadcast, the network executives at CBS expressed several concerns, revealing initial impressions that were less than favorable regarding the special. "We previewed it 2 weeks before it aired. It looked very slow to Bill and I, and when it was over, Bill and I looked at each other and one of us said to the other, 'Oh God, I think we ruined Charlie Brown.'"
I've killed it.
And one of the animators in the back row, Ed Levitt, a famous animator, stood up and said, "You guys are crazy, this is gonna run for 100 years. And we said to him, "What are you smoking?"
You're hopeless, Charlie Brown. Completely hopeless.
The Christmas special faced an uphill battle from the start, as CBS executives and even producer Lee Mendelson had little faith in its success. However, the network decided to show the special to Richard Bergheim, a television critic for Time magazine, anticipating a negative review. And to their surprise, a day before the special aired, Richard's published review was positive. He praised the special's genuine nature, stating, "A Charlie Brown Christmas is one children's special this season that bears repeating." Once the special aired on December December 9th, 1965. It achieved significant success with 45% of viewers at home watching it. It recorded a total of 15,490,000 views, securing its position as the second most popular program in the Nielsen ratings, following Bonanza with 17 million. A multitude of positive reviews began pouring in, as many have yet to voice any criticism on A Charlie Brown Christmas. The Charlie Brown Christmas special later won an Emmy for Outstanding Children's Program in 1966, becoming the second animated TV show to receive that award, following Hanna-Barbera's The Huckleberry Hound Show.
Charlie Brown is not used to winning, so we thank you.
What was initially seen as a failure by the executives and producers turned into a holiday phenomenon that continues to be aired on television every Christmas season. At least until Apple acquired the rights to Peanuts and ruined the tradition. Your phones are overrated! While there are still moments during production that I will mention later in the video, let's dive into the special itself and explore this holiday classic.
We're late for Christmas play rehearsal.
Don't worry, Charlie Brown's in charge. We could just ignore him and dance repetitively.
I love dancing repetitively.
The plot of A Charlie Brown Christmas follows Charlie Brown as he navigates the holiday season, feeling gradually unhappy by the commercialization of Christmas and the general frivolity that seems to exclude him.
Nobody sent me a Christmas card today. I almost wish there weren't a holiday season. I know nobody likes me. Why do we have to have a holiday season to emphasize it?
Despite his friends' excitement for the festive season, Charlie struggles to find the true meaning of Christmas. Even Lucy's not excited about the holidays, as she doesn't necessarily want presents, but wants real estate.
I never get what I really want. I always get a lot of stupid toys or a bicycle or clothes or something like that. What is it you want? Real estate.
It's free real estate.
Following a consultation at Lucy's psychiatric booth for guidance, because of course she's a professional in psychology, she implores him to take on the director role for the school's Christmas play to revitalize the holiday spirit. However, his attempts are met with apathy and criticism from the other kids, who are more interested in the flashy decorations and presents, especially since they would rather dance than follow the director's orders, although the director is Charlie Brown, so they won't take him seriously. After feeling bewildered by the idiocy surrounding him, Charlie decides to find a Christmas tree to enhance the play's mood. While the other kids prefer an artificial tree, Charlie instead brings a small real sapling tree. Although Charlie's intentions were good when he brought the small tree, the kids thought differently. They relentlessly tease Charlie, calling him out for bringing such a flimsy Christmas tree for the play, and they laugh at him. And he starts to feel worse. I can't tell from this frame. Feeling defeated, Charlie Brown loudly asks if anyone knows what Christmas is all about. After a moment of reflection, his friend Linus steps in and recites a passage in the Bible, specifically the Gospel of Luke, chapter 2.
And this shall be a sign unto you. You shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God, and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown.
Upon realizing that he doesn't need commercialism to divert himself from the spirit of Christmas, Charlie Brown decides to take the tree and decorate it, leading the other kids to follow him. He stops at Snoopy's doghouse, which, by the way, Snoopy was busy putting decorations on his doghouse for a contest or something, and places a red ball ornament on the tiny tree. Unfortunately, its weight causes the tree to bend and fall to the ground, immediately upsetting Charlie. The kids notice that although the tree is small, it has potential. With Linus using its blanket to provide support, the rest of the gang give the tree a makeover using decorations from the doghouse. The result is a beautiful Christmas tree perfect for the entire neighborhood. The special concludes with the kids and a returning Charlie Brown humming "Hark the Herald Angels Sing" as the scene fades.
Charlie Brown is a blockhead, but he did get a nice tree.
Although it may appear to be a simple Christmas story, A Charlie Brown Christmas doesn't quite fit into the same category as other classic Christmas specials like Rudolph or Christmas Carol. So why does A Charlie Brown Christmas resonate with so many people, myself included, during the holiday season? Well, for a few reasons. Unlike many other holiday programs that rely on flashy visuals, elaborate sets, and familiar storylines, A Charlie Brown Christmas embraces a more restrained approach. Its unique animation features, minimalist backgrounds, and stylized character designs create created with a limited animation technique that reflects the simplicity of the original comic strips. Is it perfect? Not quite. The animation appears this way due to budget constraints, an extremely tight time frame, and the artist's goal to create something authentic and heartfelt. The limited resources and short schedule left little opportunity for extensive revisions and improvements, which is evident in certain moments of animation errors. There are parts in the special where the animation looks awkward or incomplete. Lucy's angry expression suddenly switches to a different shot while remaining in the same background, and Charlie's expression, intended to show his frustration, comes across as angrier than intended. He looks like he's about to commit some genocide. And should I mention the repeated frames in the dance scene during the play's rehearsal or the choppy 6 frames of walking? Well, to be fair, they're not as hilariously bad as the Animal Football League segments in the Super Bowl special. But have you ever heard of the phrase, perfection is overrated, sincerity is timeless? The animation may not be perfect, but its imperfections contribute to its uniqueness. Although the creators might consider it to look subpar, we can still appreciate the evident passion behind it. It evokes the charm of a colorful Peanuts comic strip and embodies a childlike quality that reflects the innocence and authenticity of the Peanuts characters. This connection resonates with audiences and highlights the charm and relatability of these beloved characters. Although the special might appear rough to some, the undeniable passion behind it speaks volumes. Sure, the animation is simple, but it works and we enjoy it. And the music. Do I even need to say anything about it? The original score, composed by Vincent Guaraldi, has become a staple not only during the holidays, but in animation in general. Its variety of lively, playful melodies set the tone for many scenes and elicit a sense of nostalgia. Also, do you remember this familiar tune? Well, here's a quick story about that. So Guaraldi contemplated the desired sound of the music while producing the soundtrack. Once he finished the piece, he called Mendelssohn and urged him to listen to what he had created. Initially, Mendelssohn wanted to hear it in person, but Guaraldi insisted he listen to it over the phone. What Guaraldi played for Mendelssohn was the iconic Peanuts theme, Linus and Lucy. The song was so admired that it basically became the main theme, and I challenge you to find someone who hasn't heard it at least once in their life. One of the Christmas themes featured in the special, Christmas Time Is Here, was initially intended to be composed by Guaraldi as an instrumental piece. However, Mendelssohn wanted to include a vocal song to accompany the special. Although Guaraldi struggled to find a suitable lyricist for the theme, he wrote the lyrics himself in just 15 minutes. The result is, in my opinion, a beautifully crafted Christmas theme. Vincent Guaraldi's jazz composition, paired with the children's voices, effectively creates a whimsical and heartfelt atmosphere. This combination enhances the overall emotional impact and engages the audience in a remarkable way. Additionally, the soundtrack comprises traditional Christmas carols such as O Tannenbaum and Hark the Herald Angels Sing, which highlight the beauty of a Charlie Brown Christmas. Hell, I adore the soundtrack so much that I actually purchased a re-release of the vinyl record. But then I remembered I don't have a record player, so I probably should have thought twice before buying this. While some may find the kids singing grating or annoying, there is a unique fascination in hearing them perform the songs. One could even argue that the special will be less impactful without the children's vocals. And speaking of the children's vocals, during this period, it was more typical for adults to provide the voices for animated characters. However, A Charlie Brown Christmas was the first animated show mainly featuring child voice actors. The producers were determined to ensure that the characters' voices matched their ages. Peter Robbins and Christopher Shea, who voiced Charlie and Linus, were the only professional voice actors in their respective roles, while the other characters were voiced by children, some as young as 4 to 5 years old. And to avoid being overwhelmed, the children were directed to record just one line at a time to maintain consistency. While the voice acting may not be exceptional, it's essential to acknowledge that most of the cast members were kids who were simply following directions. Nevertheless, I commend the effort to take this risk, as it adds to the authenticity of the special and contributes to its charm, much like the music. Interestingly, Snoopy was initially voiced by Bill Melendez, who provided the voice clips as temporary placeholders until a suitable voice actor could be found. However, many people believed Bill did such a fantastic job voicing the Beagle that they kept his clips in the final production. And I have to say, hearing his voice coming out of Snoopy really adds a sense of levity to the special.
Ugh! I've been kissed by a dog! I have dog germs! Get hot water! Get some disinfectant! Get some iodine!
A Charlie Brown Christmas also offers some cultural commentary, particularly by criticizing commercialism. The theme of commercialism is central to the story, highlighting how the holiday season often prioritizes buying expensive gifts and house decorations. Throughout the special, Charlie Brown expresses his disappointment because Christmas has become overly commercialized. This shift overshadows the true meaning of the holiday as the other characters are deeply ingrained in this commercialization, as they engage in the latest trends and manias instead of understanding what Christmas is all about.
Look, Charlie, let's face it. We all know that Christmas is a big commercial racket. It's run by a big Eastern syndicate, you know.
Hey, wanna know how bad the commercialism got to the kids? Charlie's sister Sally asks him to write a letter to Santa stating that she will accept any gifts or cash.
Just send money. How about 10s and 20s? 10s and 20s? Oh, even my baby sister. All I want is what I have coming to me. All I want is my fair share.
Charlie directs his endeavors towards the Christmas school play, hoping it will shift the kids' views on excessive commercialism. The kids need a visual representation for the school play, but they would prefer Charlie to get an artificial tree instead of a real one. However, Charlie decides to pursue his ambitions and buys a small tree, believing it could still be beautiful even if it isn't as attractive as the artificial options. But the kids just straight up bully Charlie for his beliefs, exemplifying the pervasive influence of commercialism on societal behavior. This situation highlights how commercial pressures can negatively affect individuals, leading to peer rejection based on personal convictions. These days, people are often caught up in commercialism. They constantly want to buy new things like phones, toys, video game consoles, clothes, and shoes. Hell, I'm guilty of having the same mindset, but it causes us to forget the true meaning of Christmas, which isn't about the presents under the tree or on a shelf. Charlie wants to find true joy and meaning despite the overwhelming commercialism around him. He feels unhappy with the shallow celebrations he sees, so his choice of a small, simple tree reflects his desire for authenticity and simplicity. Inspired by Linus' speech from the Bible, he decides to take the tree and decorate it. Although he initially struggles, the rest of the Peanuts gang arrives to help fix the tree. They all understand that Christmas should not be centered around commercialism, but should focus on sharing love and kindness with others. This serves as a reminder to viewers that the true significance of Christmas lies not in gifts, but in the relationships we cherish and the spirit of giving. And yeah, let's briefly talk about Linus' speech from the Bible. Chapter 2 in the Gospel of Luke describes the events enveloping the birth of Jesus Christ and accentuating the contentment and value of this momentous occasion. It emphasizes the themes of hope, faith, and the importance of love, embodying Christmas's true meaning. What's even more interesting is that the play never actually took place. Instead, Linus took center stage and delivered the recital without an audience. In a unique twist, we, the viewers, serve as the audience. I believe this was a clever way to convey the message about what Christmas is truly about. This scene sparked some controversy, mainly among CBS executives. Before shows like All in the Family began to blend religion and entertainment in their programming, assimilating any biblical messaging into animation was considered taboo and risky.
The one thing, though, that caused the most comment among ourselves was when Sparky insisted that Linus give the biblical version of the meaning of Christmas. I told Sparky at the time, and I think Lee did too, he says, oh, it's very dangerous for us to start talking about religion now. And he said I remember he turned to me with his strange blue eyes and he said, Bill, if we don't do it, who will? So I said, I'll go with that.
CBS executives clearly lacked confidence in A Charlie Brown Christmas. Unlike typical Christmas specials at the time, it featured slow pacing, no laugh tracks, simplistic animation, a jazz soundtrack, and critiques of commercialism, even including a Bible verse. Since the special was already completed, they decided to just premiere it. The results were unexpected, and I imagine they felt dumb for losing faith in this timeless classic. Many have compared this special to The Small Tree, where the kids would mock the tree, much like the studio executives who lacked faith in the special. However, as Linus says,
it's not bad at all, really. Maybe it just needs a little love.
We continue to appreciate Schultz and his passion for the special for its simplicity and willingness to take risks, even if it's not perfect. All of these elements, the simple animation, the soundtrack, the voice actors, and the risks taken to share the message, combine to make A Charlie Brown Christmas a heartfelt, sincere, and unforgettable celebration of the season. This holiday television special resonates with us of all generations and is likely to continue doing so over time, even if it no longer airs on television. Another thing to note is that A Charlie Brown Christmas was revised after its initial airing in 1965. Changes were made to the animation, music, and camera shots before it was released for future television re-airings and physical media. It is currently available for streaming on Apple Plus, and surprisingly, the original 1965 print was uploaded to the Internet Archive by Einstein Studios in 1999, and was color-corrected to enhance its quality. Additionally, the Coca-Cola promotion sign at the beginning of the special remained intact, even though it was removed from later re-airings. I just thought I'd mention that. Happy holidays! I wish you all a safe and exciting Merry Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate, and a Happy New Year.